Okay, good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you guys? Yay! I love it. Well, it's still morning in both places. I just got off a Zoom with Germany and it wasn't morning there. So it's not sure which time zone I'm always talking to, but this is super fun for me. So first and foremost, Charlotte, thank you so much for inviting me on. This is really a treat for me to get to talk to people all over the country, and technology has made it so great that we get to do that. And there's all kinds of things that we can train on at a regional, but you guys are in the room as leaders. Most of you have seen the regional numerous times. The slides we've all trained on, and multiple times, of course. We've trained on them as well. Excuse me while I turn off my phone so we don't get any more ringing. And so I kind of want to bring some kind of freshness to the day today and talk about some topics that we know and love, but not topics that are on the screen for you to see. So I'm just going to get a train sort of free form today, which is really fun for me because I don't usually get to train at a regional completely free form. So this is super fun. So I'll take you back. Some of you know my story and some of you don't know my story, but I've been in business with Nerium now for 5.5 years. And 5.5 years ago, I had a man prospect me. And there's so many key things about the story when I look back. And when I analyze that sit down where I was prospected over a cup of coffee, I am reminded about so many things that happened in that sit down that I have drawn from and been able to train from, and actually really considered and thought about what caused me to make the decision to join Nerium, right? And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But as the story goes, he had called me 3 separate times asking me to get together for a cup of coffee. Let's just catch up. Never said he had something, never said, you got to check this out. Never said any of that. Just said, let's catch up. It's a new year. Holidays are behind us. Haven't seen you in forever. Let's catch up. And I was not in a good place. I was working 50, 60 hours a week. I was exhausted. I was not happy. I didn't know what I was going to do. Financially, I was $50,000 in credit card debt, on the verge of losing my home, and I was not in a great place. I was not very nice to him because I was quite moody. And I just literally said no. And by the 3rd time, he had driven an hour from his home, and he was at the Starbucks on the corner of my street and said, hey, just happened to be in your area. And of course, then I went and met him, but he was persistent, right? But pleasantly persistent. And that's a big key to all of this, right? We're pleasantly persistent. And so I remember meeting him, sitting down over a cup of coffee. I remember him being incredibly excited. Oh my gosh, you don't understand. We're sitting on a gold mine. This stuff delivers results the world's never seen before in anti-aging. Oh my gosh, you have to take a look at this. And there's clinical trials and there's all this science, but he was mostly extremely excited. And as I looked at him, I thought he was crazy. And all I could think was, oh no, dude, we are not sitting on anything. I'm busy. I'm not interested. But when I saw the before and after pictures, of course, I was very interested. And I wanted some, whatever that was, I wanted some. And so he gave me a bottle, let me take it home. For the next 3 nights, I couldn't sleep because all I could think about was, my gosh, what if he's right? Everybody I know has skin. Everybody I know who has skin uses something on their skin. And I started in my mind sort of to make a list. Well, Trina would love it, and Rhonda would love it, and Celeste would love it, and Cindy would want some, but no, Cindy looks too good. Never mind. Cindy's not having any. No, I'm kidding. Just making sure you guys are still with me. So anyway, I took the bottle home, tried it, and within 3 nights of not sleeping, I got up on the 3rd morning and I ordered a business pack. And my credit cards were all maxed out. That charge should not have gone through. I spent $1,000 of money I didn't have. And I bought that business pack because I thought, what's the worst case? I have 12 bottles of night cream, because all we had back then was night cream. I have 12 bottles of night cream. I have one for every month for the rest of the year. What's the worst case? I thought, what's the worst case? It doesn't work. I'm going to try it on my friends. We'll send it all back. I've got 30 days to check this out, but I did not want to look back with the pain of regret. So a couple things I want you to draw from the story: the pain of regret, what's the worst case? What do you have to lose? And I'm saying that because this will all wrap up toward the end of the training that I'm doing here, but you'll see when we get there. And so here I was, so I bought the bottles. My idea was I'm going to hand out 10 of the bottles. I'll keep 2 in backup. 1 I'll use myself, 1 extra will be the backup. 10 of my friends will try it. We'll take the before and after pictures. 30 days later, we're going to send it all back. I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to get him off my back because clearly he's persistent, and I can send it all back and no harm, no foul, right? Be done with it. And I'll know and he'll know, and I'm going to save him from that bad company. Over the next 30 days, the pictures were amazing. And I don't need to show you guys pictures. You've all seen lots and lots of pictures, right? And so that built my belief. But here's what I want to tell you. Out of those 10 people who got great results and who are my closest friends, not one of them would buy the product, and not one of them would join the business. And I tell you that because people think, oh yeah, well, you just were, all roses and it just all worked out for you and you got in early and that's why you made a lot of, no, none of it. It was really hard. As a matter of fact, I was really bummed. And I almost quit. I'm gonna be really transparent. I almost quit. And I almost quit because I'm like, I had all those thoughts that new people have. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed, and why won't they join me? And they all think I'm crazy, and they're talking behind my back, and they were. But I also at that time heard Jeff Olson speak for the very first time, and I remember him saying, something like, I used to care what people thought until I tried to pay my bills with their thoughts. And I thought, oh, that's money. And I heard him say, who in the room wants to build a team of 1,000 people? And of course I thought, oh my gosh, I do. But I was so nervous at the thought of that because I'm not a leader. How could I lead 1,000 people? I don't even know what I'm doing, right? And but I thought, I want that. I don't know how I'm going to get that, but I want that. And I thought, you know what? I have a choice to make here, a decision to make. Either I'm going to go, quit, or I'm going to go. And I decided I'm going to go with or without you. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. Someday I'm going to look at you in my rear view mirror that's very small because my windshield is huge. And I have the big picture out there, and I'm going to run with this thing because those people gave me something they could never take back. They gave me my belief. They gave me my belief. And my belief was what carried me through from then forward. And you guys, I did it all wrong, right? I gave the bottles out for 30 days. I didn't know there was some kind of product prospecting system. So here I am, no money, no bottles, and no friends. And I had done 2 other network marketing companies with very little success. So my friends, I didn't have a track record, right? No wonder my friends didn't want to follow me, because they hadn't seen that I had had success. And I had prospected every single person I knew. I was like the president of the NFL club, the No Friends Left club, because I didn't have anybody I could really talk to. So I had every reason to quit, but I didn't. I made a conscious decision that no matter what, I was going to do this until. I will until. And I still have that same philosophy. I will until. And my until has changed. I will until I create 100 millionaires, because that is out there for all of us. So I want to talk about this one little word. And it was there, and I say this all the time. I think to myself, what if one little word could change your life? What if one little word could change your business moving forward today, after today? What if one little word could do that? What if one little word could change your financial destiny? And what if that one little word could change the financial destiny of another person? right? So true success here is really wrapped up in this one little word, and we don't realize how powerful this word is. And when I think back on that very first meeting, when I was being prospected for this business, I think back to that one meeting, the word was there. I think back to the initial phone call when he was trying to get me to come meet him to talk about this exciting breakthrough in anti-aging. The word was there. And it's the most powerful word, but yet we don't use it enough. We're actually a little bit afraid to use it, I find. And whether we're new or we've been for years, we've had the success we wanted, we don't have the success we want, it's dependent on this one silly little word. And that's really what I want to talk about today, is that one little word. Because it was there. It was there in the phone call. It was there in the text. It was there in the sit down. It was there when I signed myself up. You guys, I went to his website and I signed myself up with $1,000 pack. Do you know why I did that? Because I had to know. But more importantly, I didn't want him to think that he could actually close me, because nobody closes me but me. If you know anything about me, I close me. You don't close me. Anyway, I'm being silly, but that's really the truth. This one little word is so powerful. This one little word starts when we approach somebody and we begin to form them, right? We begin to ask them about them. How's your family? Form the acronym for family, occupation, recreation, M, motivation, or money. And there it was. And that one little word is ask. It's everywhere in what we do. Because from the moment we approach somebody, we're actually teaching them how to do the business, right? We're teaching them wrong, or we're teaching them right. We're duplicating wrong, or we're duplicating right. And I've had the experience of duplicating wrong, and I've had to turn the ship around. And as the ship gets bigger, it's harder to turn around and duplicate right. So here's another psychological piece to all of this. From the moment you approach someone, they're thinking these three things. And they're thinking subconsciously, this is subconscious, they're thinking these three things from the product side, and they're thinking these three things from the business side, and they're thinking from the product side. Does it work? Is it simple? And can I do it? Does it work? Picture, 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 picture. We don't have to prove to them. If it works, it works. We can show them with pictures. Is it simple? Yes, it's one step. You just put it on at night before bed. You just put it on your eyes. Takes 15 minutes to get an after picture, right? So it's just this simple thing. And the last thing, third thing they're thinking subconsciously, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I put on night cream? Yeah, I can do that. It's one step. Can I do it? They're also thinking about these same questions, only there's a fourth question. Same three plus one. Subconsciously, when they are thinking about the business, they're thinking, does it work? Does the business work? Is it simple? Can I do it? And more importantly, can I just do what you just did to me, to my friends? Am I willing to do what you just did to me, to my friends? And that's why we keep it simple. So there's the word again, ask. They're asking themselves. Okay, so from the beginning, in that sit down, there was the word ask. I was asking questions. When your prospect starts asking questions, they're interested, right? And from the beginning, we begin planting seeds, right? We plant the seeds, we cultivate the seeds, we harvest the seeds. This is what we're doing in the prospecting system. And so we could be leading with the business, and the questions we're asking are things like, hey, Cindy, what are you using now? What are you using for anti-aging? Hey, can I ask you a question? What are you doing for your brain health? Hey, hey, I've got a question. What are you using? Oh, I'm using oil of Olay. Well, how long have you been using it? Power question number 2. How long have you been using it? The ask, right? And, hey, if there was one thing, what do you like about it? Well, I don't know. I like the way it smells. I don't know. I've been using it for years. I pick it up at the grocery store. It's simple, right? It's no big deal. I just get it because I've been getting it all the time. Well, if there was one thing it could do better, what would you want it to do? Power question number 4, right? Another ask. And then, hey, listen, I've got something that really does work on those brown spots. If I gave it to you, my ask now, if I could put it in your hands, would you try it for me? And would you just let me take your picture and show you how great it is? Would you be willing to try it? Yes. Questions, right? But most of all, this starts with the forming questions, like, how are you doing? What's happening in your life? What are how's your husband? How's your job? What are your kids doing? What are you doing for the holidays? Right? And we, of course, don't rapid fire off these questions, but we are asking questions because we care about people. We genuinely care. And in this business, you have to lead with your heart. Nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care. So we're leading when we're planting the seeds. We're leading with forming questions, because eventually they're going to what? Ask about you. And when they ask about you, you have the opportunity right there to form that bridge for Nerium, but not before, right? Because doesn't it feel icky when you go to meet somebody for coffee or you pick up the phone to talk to them and all you can think about is you're like that. I don't know if you've ever seen Amanda Thompson's training, but it's like the golden retriever that jumps on your lap and licks you all over the face. It's like that. The phone is a brick because you have an agenda. And so if you lead with the agenda of caring about the other person, you ask by forming, right? And then you're trying to get them, of course, to ask what you're doing, which creates the bridge for you then to talk about Nerium. And then you have a chance to ask questions, and some of these power questions when you're leading with the product. If you've been listening when you're forming them, then you've probably found out something about why they would want the business of Nerium. Maybe it's because they want the products, but they can't afford the product, right? Oh gosh, well, I'd love to try that night cream, but it's, honestly, it's just out of my budget. It's just out of my budget. And then you have a chance again to lead with your heart. Wow. Gosh, Cindy, that just breaks my heart for you, because every woman, man or woman, should have, enough little extra money just to be able to buy yourself a beautiful product to take care of the health of your skin. That just breaks my heart for you. Doing what you're doing, when would you have time, to be able to have a product like this? When would you be able to really take care of yourself doing what you're doing? Hey, look, I don't know if it's for you, but I got something, and we're looking for a couple people. I think you should take a look at this. Might not be for you at all. So ask to take a look, right? Not, oh, you'd be great at this business, and gosh, you should do it, and you could stay home with your, just ask with your heart, carefully, kindly, lovingly, and speak to the need, because God gave us 2 ears. And if we're asking with the one mouth and we're listening with the 2 ears, and we're taking time to hear, we're going to hear the reason, we're going to hear something that helps us move to the next level. We're also You know, asking with somebody's potential why. You know, hey, Cindy, you know, do you like to travel? Well, most people would say yes to that question. It's very rare that someone says no. Do you like to travel? Gosh, you know what? We have this unbelievable incentive trip that, you know, that anybody could get. This is an awesome time to, you know, you want to take a look at how you could get it. I'd love you to come with me. You're the first person I thought of. I've always wanted to travel with you, right? Could be travel. Ask. You know, the other one too is asking, hey, you know, can I borrow your eyes for 15 minutes? Working on my database, right? Most of you in the room are seasoned. Most of you know how to ask a lot of these questions. They're just, you know, ideas. Asking about that. When somebody gets, I had a kind of a fun exchange recently. I was on a plane coming back from Dallas, and I sat next to this woman, and I was exhausted. I delivered a long training. I'd done sit downs, back-to-back RRPs. It just was a 4-day nonstop trip. And I sat next to this woman, and honestly, I just wanted to go to sleep. I'm always prospecting the person next to me, if you're within 3 feet of me, or at least getting to know you and developing a relationship so I can prospect you at some point. And I sat next to her, and she struck up a conversation. And the first thing I thought was, man, I just want to take a nap. I'm so tired. But she was lovely, and she had this amazing energy. And she's like, hi, you know, how you doing? And we got talking, and before I knew it, I got caught up in learning about her, and I found out she was from Dallas, and she had kids, and she was, you know, coming home for the holidays, and she was on her way home actually for, let's see, it was October, so she was coming to see her kids for Halloween. I knew there was some holiday wrapped around it, and she was coming home, and you know, she went through this whole story, and she was worried about her garden, and we talked about all kinds of things until finally she said, what do you do? And I said, oh my gosh, I'm in the anti-aging business. And she said, well, and I watch people in those few seconds when I say, oh, I'm in the anti-aging business, just for those couple seconds, if I'm quiet, I watch the wheels turning. And she's thinking to herself, wow, is she an esthetician? Is she a counter girl at Nordstrom? Is she, you know, what does she do, right? What is it that she does? Is she a plastic surgeon, an esthetician, a dermatologist? No, she's blonde. Probably not. No, I'm kidding. But she's, you know, I can see the wheel spinning, and she finally says, well, what, like, oh, well, I want that. What is that? And I said, you know, I said, oh my gosh, you know, way easier to show you than tell you. And of course I pull out my phone and I start showing pictures, and she is just enamored by the pictures. And she says, well, how long is that? And does that really work? And oh my gosh, I wish could I get those results on my stomach like that? And oh gosh, yeah, Nancy, you could. And then she started to ask more questions, and well, how much is it? I said, you know what? I said, I have to finish this reading material because I'm preparing for something I have to do with my work when I get home. But how about if we exchange information? And how about if we meet for coffee? I found out she lived near me. And why don't we grab a coffee together? And I did that because I found myself getting in that moment of, uh-oh, I'm about to start selling. I'm about to start convincing. I'm about to go for the close. And I don't know this woman well enough to do that. And I didn't feel like I had enough of a bridge to do that. And this is one area in my personal growth with recruiting that I've learned to have a lot of wisdom with and a lot of patience with, because sometimes we want to go for the close too quickly, and we haven't developed enough of a relationship to be able to do that. And even though we'd had a great exchange, I wanted to take it away, because when you take it away, they want a little more. So she found me in the baggage claim. She's like, hey, were you going to give me your number? Are we going to get together with coffee? And sure enough, you know, we exchanged numbers. We met for coffee. And while we met for coffee, I had told her about the night cream on the plane. That's all I had told her about. When I walked in for coffee, I was excited to see her. And she said, hey, did you bring me that night cream? Because the bottle is the bait, right? If I say, listen, let's grab a coffee, you know what? Let me just bring you a bottle of the night cream. You can just take it home and try it for free on me. And I don't tell them they're going to get a 5-day trial. I just let them believe that they're going to get to keep that bottle. And so the bottle's the bait. And every time it works, because I can get someone to meet me, because now the bottle's the bait, right? And so we meet, we start to have coffee, and I said, oh my gosh, Nancy, did I tell you about the eye serum? She says, wow, you've got eye serum. You didn't tell me about the eye serum. I was like, oh my gosh, the eye serum is amazing. Let me try it on you while we're sitting here. It gives results in about 15 minutes. She goes, well, what does it do? And I'm like, oh my gosh, way easier to show you than tell you. Picture, 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 picture. Oh my gosh, great, let's try some on you. Take the before picture, put the eye serum on, wait 15 minutes, take the after picture, and bam, sure enough, she's got great before and after pictures. And while I'm sitting there talking to her, other people are like watching us because we have this amazing energy. I'm raising my energy. I'm all excited. Now I've had a cup of coffee. She's all excited. We're laughing. We're, making kind of a, a splash in Starbucks. And I always sit with my iPad, by the way. Anytime I can, I pull my iPad out to show pictures because the screen is a lot bigger. And you can get other people's attention if you position your back to the door or to the lineup at Starbucks, because there's always a line. So I always position my back with my iPad toward the door. So if you're not doing that, that's a hot tip. And so in all this commotion, people are looking over my shoulder now. People in the line are staring at the pictures on my iPad. So there we are, we're showing pictures. And, now people are starting to look over our shoulder. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what the eye serum does. We're trying it on over here. Come on, you want to be my model? I need some pictures. So now I got other people that are trying the eye serum on. Nancy gets a great picture, eye serum before and after picture. And I say, Nancy, oh my gosh, look at this picture. Here's the ask. Here's the money question. Write this down. Nancy, if you got results like this, how many people do you know who would want to get these results? Think about it. Everybody you know's got eyes. We're just looking for people with eyes. She starts laughing. We start laughing. She's like, well, everybody. And then the next person comes over and they go, hey, what are you guys doing over here? Like, we're trying on eye serum where this stuff works in like 15 minutes. We hardly believed it, but we just have to see it for ourselves. You got to see this. Let's try this on you. We didn't believe it was true, but my gosh, look at Nancy. Now she's sitting there. So we get a little more hubbub going. And you guys, if you go with a friend and you do this, you can pretend like your friend in Nerium is your prospect. You can create the same kind of buzz in your Starbucks or whatever coffee house you like to go to with somebody that's in Nerium. Go prospect together. Create this kind of buzz wherever you go. But this is the first time I'd ever done this, and it was a huge learning curve for me. So anyway, so she got these great pictures. So I said, she said, oh my gosh, I have people that would love this product. And I said, okay, let's text this picture to 3 of your friends. She goes, look at me, that's crazy. I go, come on, let's text it. Let's just see what happens. She goes, okay. She starts to text it. I go, wait, stop. I said, write this in the text before you send the picture. OMG, you guys are going to want to write this down. OMG, this is me in only 15 minutes. This stuff works! Exclamation mark. Don't say anything else, just send it. She's like, okay. So we sent it to 3 separate people. 1 was her daughter, and 2 were friends of hers separately. And then I said, let's see how fast. I go, let's see how fast it takes for them to come back. Come on, this is fun. So we just made it fun, right? And people around Starbucks were watching. And we're getting there before and after pictures. I'm like, hey, let's text it to your friend. I'm like, what's your number? And I'll text it over to you because I wanted their number. I'm like, hey, Ron, what's your number? I'll text you your picture. Text it to your friend. So I had 3 or 4 people doing this. And so sure enough, one of the people comes back to Nancy. It's her best friend. And her friend says, what is it? And I told Nancy, I said, watch, they're going to come back and say, what is it? So she starts to say it's Nerium. I'm like, no, don't tell them what it is. I said, type this. So this is what you come back with. The type back was, okay, you say, I'm finding out how to get it wholesale. I'll text you back as soon as I know. So I'm teaching her to pique interest. I'm teaching her to keep interest. I'm teaching her how to do the business, but I'm having fun doing it without her knowing. And so she was really excited. And she ended up purchasing some of the products. And the next week when I met with her, because I said, hey, I would just say, hey, what are you doing? Let's go see if we can get some commotion going at Starbucks again. It's always been our joke. We always meet at the same Starbucks now because it was a reminder of how much fun it was. She was a yellow personality type. She was super fun. And so she needed to see how fun Miriam is. So I created a fun environment for her to see it. So anyway, her girlfriend came back and wanted to order it. And I said, Nancy, you wanted to buy all the products. When you ordered she ordered the day cream, night cream, and eye serum. I said, when you ordered those 3 products, you wanted all of them. You have people that want these products. You should not be paying for your products because you can get them for free. And she's a professional woman, extremely busy with her business. She does real estate loans, and she's super busy, and she did not have any intention of doing another business because she's so busy. And I just said, listen, let's just get you on your next order. Let's just order you the starter pack. That way you can have one of all of the products. You can have them to try. We'll have these couple friends that are interested in the products order from you. You can get your products for free, and who knows, maybe you'll slip up and make a little money. Gosh, maybe you'll slip up and you won't have to, sell another house. And maybe you'll slip up, and I just made it fun and made it light. So Nancy ended up becoming a brand partner. It took her about 6 weeks to do that, but she upgraded, and so she's off and running. But the story is really wrapped around the ask. Hey, can I borrow your eyes? Hey, do you guys want to try this? Hey, who else wants to do it? Oh my gosh, if you got results like these, who else wants results? But sometimes we're afraid to ask, and as we begin to cultivate the seeds, we forget to ask for the close. And so the next step really to all of this is asking, for the close, asking, for how do we do that next step, right? And sometimes we don't ask because we don't want to hear no. We don't ask because we're afraid that we won't hear the answer. We're afraid they're going to say no. But if we don't ask, nothing happens, right? And so I have all these really great notes here. So here's the thing. The answer to the question is always the same, because we're really looking for them to ask us, right? Because if we show some pictures and we get somebody to ask us questions, we know they're what? They're interested, right? But the problem is most of us answer the question too quickly. And that's part of the reason why with Nancy on the plane, I did not want to go down the path of answering all her questions, because I knew I would put myself in a position of selling or convincing. And I knew with the wisdom that I have and the amount of experience that I have now that she wasn't ready. I didn't know her well enough to say, hey, give me your credit card, right, on the plane. But I knew that I could develop that relationship with her if I took the time to do it. So the answer to the question, in reminding yourself as seasoned brand partners and in teaching someone new, the answer to the question should always be the same. The answer to the question should be, you know what? I don't really know. All I know is this stuff works. You got to hear my friend Anna's story, or you got to hear my friend, Debbie's story, or you got to hear my friend Cindy's story, or, oh my gosh, you know what? John knows 100% of the facts. Hold on, let me grab them. Transition to the three-way call, right? It's not the one time when we don't ask. That's the one time when we don't ask. It's when we just do. But when we hear the ask, that should be the alert to a three-way call, right? And again, there's that word, because we're going to ask somebody upline, sideline, cross line, even downline, to get on the phone with us. I just had a young person on the phone, and I had to ask, there I was asking, I had to ask a 22-year-old guy in the business to get on the phone as my expert. And of course, then for the whole next week, it was like, oh yeah, on a camp, had to use me as our expert. Yeah, because I needed somebody else to speak the language. And so many times in regular business, right, we're required to be the expert. So if I'm in the real estate business, and which I was years ago, if I'm selling a home to somebody, right, and somebody comes to me and they say, you know, the wife says to me, for example, well, how many square feet is this? And I say, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is the last woman wanted to buy the house. Let's, you know, I don't know. Let's ask somebody, right? I wouldn't have a lot of credibility. And so it's not normal for people. It's really not normal for any of us to get somebody on a three-way call with us, right? But it's critical in the business because you have to move yourself out of the way. And subconsciously, that person, you hear me talk a lot about subconscious, the subconscious mind, because so much of what happens, so much of what you say, only so much of what you say registers in the subconscious mind, but that subconscious mind is so incredibly powerful that it is what moves us to make a conscious decision. It's very, very powerful. And so what we're doing is registering in the subconscious mind of the people that we're talking to. And it's kind of heady stuff, but it's important to know. And most of you have been in your Nerium business for a while. And so most of us need to be going to, like, you know, Nerium 102, Nerium 103, and thinking about what causes somebody to say yes to me and how can I become better at my craft in doing so. And so then there it is again, the ask. We ask somebody to get on a three-way call with us, right? And we lay this beautiful foundation. We say, gosh, Cindy, you know, I just got my friend John on the phone, and you had some great questions. And you know what, John, this is Cindy. Cindy and I went to college together. We've known each other for forever. She is amazing. You know, she just took a look at a video, or she saw some before and after pictures, and she had some questions. You know me, I'm not the best at answering the questions. And besides, we're too close. She's got to hear it from somebody else. And Cindy, this is John, and he's just such a great guy. He's one of us. I mean, he loves to have fun, and he's really good at knowing the facts. And I know he can answer some of your questions for you. And just laying that beautiful foundation for two people to be able to have a conversation, because you've fully edified both people, right? And so we ask for the three-way call, not by asking, but by just transitioning into that call. And in that process, our expert, quote unquote expert, 21-year-old, oh, it was so awesome. So fun to do that. Let someone else do the work. I got to put my feet up on the desk with my Ugg boots and sit back and take notes. It was really good. But yeah, so in doing that, we're teaching them to do the business. But then the expert will take the person to the next step with that word again, asking the prospect to, you know, try the product, or asking them to come to a market party, or asking them to maybe grab a coffee, the three of them together, or asking to get on a Zoom where everybody could see each other. And, you know, nowadays our sit downs are done over Zoom, right? I can grab a cup of coffee and I can do a sit down with a couple other people over a Zoom, right? And so we have these amazing ways that we can do this business, and it is all about the ask. And then we have the harvest, right? Because we've taken them through this process, and we really, like, a lot of us, we want to get to the harvest just as quickly as possible. Just like on the plane, I wanted to get to the credit card. I wanted to get there as quickly as possible. But I waited. And a lot of times we think that, you know, we plant the seeds, we plant the seeds, and then it's like, sun, come out, sun, come out, sun, come out, sun, come out, hurry up, come out, come out, come out. And it doesn't happen as fast as we want it to. And this is really, this process of follow-up is huge. And the process of follow-up is the biggest place where we miss. You know, so I could go through a whole bunch of regional slides and I could talk about all these different aspects, but the biggest, I personally believe in working the business, in struggling myself, in overcoming a lot of stuff myself, over getting better, over teaching myself to train, over getting over the fear. You guys, I was not the girl that I am today at all. And it's because of pain, and I'm going to be really transparent, painful work on myself. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Because I know that in doing it over and over and over, you don't start out being good. You get a little bit better, and then you get a little bit better, and then you get a little bit better. And if you do it really consistently, so some of us sitting in the room are actually do really prospecting 2 a day. Some of you sitting in the room really aren't. Some of us make crazy, amazing excuses. And I'm only saying this because I'm saying some of us, including me, we make crazy, amazing excuses. Our brain will always seek a comfort zone. Our brain will always seek that place where we're comfortable. And getting out of our comfort zone is those 2 inches away from that one prospect that's going to explode your business. So we come to everything, but we don't necessarily do the work that will put us closer to that incredible explosion in our business. And the fortune is so in the follow-up, but so many times we don't do it. Well, I'll pick up the bottle later, and hey, the prospect makes excuses. It's everywhere, right? Don't you just hate when people make excuses, right? Oh, I didn't try it. Oh, I left it in the car. Oh, I forgot about it, right? You're like, that was my bottle. I gave it to you for a week. What are you doing? Right? We all know what that feels like. We all know because we have experienced it, and it's frustrating. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to speak from my own personal experience, when I am making excuses, I attract people that are making excuses. It just is. It's in the energy. It's in the field. There's no disputing it. Because I've watched my own human behavior. I've watched the human behavior of countless people that I've coached. I've worked very hard to build a business that's a crazy, amazing business here at Nerium that I never would have had somebody not gotten out of their comfort zone to tell me, about this business. After 3 times of me saying no and not being nice, by the 3rd time I finally said, okay, right? And I've watched how human behavior is. And I know that when I'm making excuses and I'm not prospecting and I'm not living up to my full potential in this business, and I am not working to get out of my comfort zone, and I'm not following up, and I'm not doing the 10 core commitments as to the best of my ability, I know that I'm attracting people that are not 10 core either and not going to be. Because when we're 10 core, people show up. When you are 10 core, and some of us are only maybe 5 of the 10, right? We show up, but we don't prospect. We don't follow up. Maybe we prospect, but we don't follow up. And I'm actually going through my little database here because I wanted to read you something that has to do with follow up. And a lot of you probably have heard this, but I wanted to read this, and it's sales statistics. And I think this is the biggest place, 2 places where we break down in this business. One is the fear of rejection that we feel when we're approaching somebody to talk about the business. We don't know how to get into the conversation. And we don't know how to get into the conversation because we have an agenda. So if you teach a new person not to have an agenda to make a sale, but more questions that they can ask to make it feel more comfortable. Like, hey, can I just ask you a question? What are you using? Right? And we teach that. There's no fear wrapped around asking questions of someone and listening for the answers. And when the prospect asks questions, to move to a 3-way call and practice that a few times with a new person, it makes it a heck of a lot easier than throwing them in and saying, just do this, right? Sales statistics. So that's the one breakdown, is that we, and I do it too, guys. I've been in this business 5.5 years and I'm really good at this business, right? I still sometimes will catch myself going, oh, I don't want to interrupt their day. They're busy. I make excuses in my head why I can't pick up the phone and make that phone call right now. So you have to master the head game, what's happening between your ears. Don't allow that. Do it anyway, because the fortune really is in the follow-up. So here's your sales statistics. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. So almost half never follow up. 25% of salespeople will make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. So only 10% are willing to talk. So the guy who prospected me, it was in the 10% because he called me 3 times. Okay, conversely, 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of, so if I would have tried to close Nancy on the plane, she would have been, I only had a 2% chance of closing her because it was the first contact. So that's why I didn't. I waited. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 3 contacts, guys, only 5% of the sales are made there. 10% are made on the fourth contact. We're getting better. Check this one out. 80% of all the sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. 5 to 12 contacts. 5 to 12 contacts before the sale is made. So it's a process. And Nancy and I have remained good friends. Nancy hasn't really worked the business too much, a little bit, but she and I have made good friends. We've become good friends, and she just invited me to the most spectacular networking event where I met people I never, ever, ever would have met. It's probably 30 women whose names I have, who I will remember, I took notes on who they are, who I will see again in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And it opened up this huge database of contacts. But it's because I slowed down. Now, I got lucky with Nancy because it was the second contact where I made the sale. But that's rare, right? I'm prepared to meet her again and again and again. And I have a YouTube channel. And I put up a video, and it's a really good one, and I want to encourage you guys to take a look at it. I did a Zoom. It's just a 30-minute Zoom, and it's called How to Get 25 Customers in 30 Days. And my YouTube channel is just my name, Anna Camp. And there's an Anna Camp near him and an Anna Camp, just Anna Camp. So if you want to go look at it, it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's really quick. I do some announcements in the beginning, and Alla Bardoff comes on, and she's a national marketing director on my team. She's absolutely amazing. She's got incredible energy, and she had recruited. She told me, I'm going to get 30 customers this month, and when I followed up with her and to try to see where she was, it was the 25th of the month, and she had 25 customers in 25 days. And she goes, I go, you're really going to do it. I said, I really didn't believe you were going to do it. She said, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. Well, she ended up with, I think, 31 customers that month, and she did it. And I said, will you come on my Zoom and will you just talk about it? So I'm just going to encourage you to go watch it. You could actually forward through the announcements that I make in the beginning of the Zoom and just get right into Alla Bardoff's part. But you will love it because her energy is amazing. And really, I want to talk about the energy. I'm going to wrap up with that in a couple minutes. But I want to talk about first the harvest, because we're still in this topic of the ask, okay? The ask. Okay, so many of us don't know how to ask for the sale, and so we fumble through, right? So in the follow-up, you're going to follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. And Alla Bardoff does a great job of talking about the follow-up too, by the way. And she says she follows up until she gets a flat out no. And she'll follow up 10, 15, 25 times or more. She's followed up with people for more than a year and 2 years until she gets a flat out no. But she's pleasantly persistent. Write that down, right? Pleasantly persistent. And so when we talk about the harvest, a lot of times we don't ask for the sale. We don't know what to do, right? And so one of them is, you know, hey, I'm placing some orders today. Look, let's go ahead and get your products. That's super simple. You can pick up the phone and call somebody. Sometimes when I have not followed up diligently, and I feel you guys have all felt this, where there's a space of time that's gone by where it's a little bit too much time has gone by, and you feel like, oh my gosh, well, I can't call him now. I'll feel like an idiot because I didn't call him when I should have, and oh, forget it. I just won't call him. I'll just start with somebody new. And so you feel awkward because you didn't follow up in a timely manner. It's okay. Call them. You know, let's go for the harvest and let's go for the ask and just say, oh my gosh, Cindy, I am so sorry. I didn't want to overlook you. Oh my gosh, I have been so busy. My business is just blowing up. It's on fire with these brand new products. Everybody's clamoring for this new cleanser. It's amazing. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I overlooked you. I know you wanted to order. What was it again that you wanted to get? I know you sampled the night cream, but did you want to get the night cream and the eye serum? Because I know you loved them both. I assume the sale. I also use that ask when I'm talking to somebody who has tried the product and they're in the window of the comfortable, like in the week or 10 days of I do need to follow up with them. I pretend like I come across to them like I think I forgot about them, right? Because the posture is that I'm so busy and everybody wants this stuff that, oh my gosh, I almost forgot about you. I didn't mean to overlook you. Shoot, gosh, I know it's been, I don't even know, 10 days or so. I know you wanted the products. Which one did you want? What did you want to get? Let me go ahead and grab your order today. Tell me where you want me to send it. Which credit card did you want to use? So I don't fire all those questions, but I don't say, do you want to get some or don't you? I assume, I ask assumptively. It's the assumptive close. I assume that they want it. And I also use what I call the choice close. So I'll give them a choice. Did you want the day and night cream, or did you want the day and night cream and the eye serum? Right? I give them a choice. I don't say, do you want it or don't you? I give them a choice. And you know, one of my favorite asks at, like, for example, an RRP, or even on a Zoom, if I'm talking to somebody, and we've just presented the information, or I'm sitting down with somebody and maybe I've shown them a video, or maybe I'm sitting down with somebody and they've seen some pictures. When they're finished, I just look at them and I go, okay, I just have a question. See, here's the ask again. So I'm gonna ask a question. I'm taking the temperature. I just have a question. And they're gonna go, well, what's, like, okay, everyone loves to answer a question, by the way, because people love to give their opinion. Okay, I just have a question. And they're like, what? And I go, are we crazy or are we onto something? And I just laugh. Are we crazy or are we onto something? Nobody ever says you're crazy. Sometimes they say you're a little of both, but I watch their reaction, and their reaction is, wow, you're onto something. Because who does not get it when they look at pictures? Who doesn't get it? How could you not get it when you look at pictures or you look at a video, short video, right? So that's always one that I use. Oh, you know, am I crazy or am I onto something? That one I use a lot. You know, one of the best asks in the harvest part is, so Cindy, what are you thinking? So what are you thinking? And you guys, when you ask, you have to shush, 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 duct tape. Don't say anything, even if there's an uncomfortable silence, because the next person that speaks loses. And you don't want it to be you. The one that's quiet wins, because now you're going to find out where this prospect is in the process. So what are you thinking? Oh my gosh, what are you thinking? Right? And I'm the oh my gosh girl, if you haven't already noticed. It's oh my gosh is pretty much at the beginning of every sentence. Because it's excitement, it's enthusiasm. And so I might say, okay, so what would prevent you from joining us? What would prevent you? You notice how quiet I am? What would prevent you from joining us? Because I want to find out where they are. You guys, a lot of times it's the money. And I know when I was prospected, I did not tell my sponsor that I couldn't afford to buy a bottle of Nerium. I didn't want him to know. That was, my ego was in the way of that. There was no way I was going to tell him that. Matter of fact, he didn't know my financial situation for 6 months into the business. He had no idea until I got up and told my story and just I was in tears until I just lost it in the front of the room. But anyway, so the ask is so important. The ask for the close. So if a lot of times it is money, the money objection. Sometimes people will say to you that it's the money. If they don't say to you that it's the money, it's important to ferret that out. And I do that with this ask. This ask is the ask I use for that. And I say, well, listen, Cindy, let me just ask you a question. If it was $1 to get started with us today and be on your way to making some money to pay down some of that debt, would you get started? Then I'm quiet. If it was $1, and repeat back their why, to get started with us today and be on your way to getting your kids to Disneyland this summer, would you get started? I don't say sign up. I don't say join the business. I mean, it's soft. To join me, to join us. Join us. We're traveling the world. We're having a blast. This is amazing, right? That's really powerful, super powerful. Okay, so if it was $1, because what they're thinking is they're starting to take ownership. They're starting to go, oh, is it $1? How do I get it for $1? Is that really true? They're beginning to take ownership of the possibility of being in business with you. So when they tell you that it is money, a lot of times I'll ask another question. Have you ever heard of Craigslist? Have you ever heard of eBay? Oh my gosh, you got something in your garage you don't need. This is a way. This is a way. This breaks my heart for you. Every person our age should have an extra $500 to change their life. This is not money you're throwing away. This is seed money. This is seed money, doing what you're doing now. When will you be able to pay down that debt? When will you be able to take care of your ailing parents? When will you be able to send your kids to college? When will you be able to do it? Whatever that thing is, repeat back their why. So, if I could show you a way to get your products for free, would that be of interest to you? I sometimes will say, like if I'm doing an RRP or an RRP Zoom or whatever, I always plant seeds and I say, hey, I know some of you here are using the products and you're here because you want to hear about the business, because you see how great these products are and you know people with skin and a brain, for crying out loud. Nobody wants to die ugly, dumb, and broke. We got something for everybody. Which one do you want? Okay, so there's so many, it would be so, think about it for a second. If you finished up an RRP, it would be completely awkward if you didn't ask for the sale. But yet I see it happen all the time. People are sitting there ready to go. They're like expecting you to tell them what to do next. Listen, people, from the time we're born until we die, We're told what to do. Think about it. Think about your kids. You know, get up at 7. You got to be at school at 9. Get in the car, fasten your seatbelt, take your plate to the sink, eat everything on your plate, you know, whatever it is, brush your teeth, get in bed, take a cigarette break, take a lunch break, right? Clock out, clock in, right? Stop at the stoplight. We're told what to do. People are comfortable being told what to do. So be okay with it. But if you don't ask, it won't happen, right? I a lot of times will say, listen, I know, all right, I know. I had you at hello. You want all the products and you can't decide. We got the perfect thing for you. Let's just get you the starter pack. Let's just get you the starter pack. It has one of everything in it. You can actually, if you refer a couple people, you can get your products on a monthly basis for free. And who knows, you might even slip up and make some money. And you might even slip up and make a lot of money. So that could be my, you know, funny girl light clothes, right? So I might speak to their heart with, you know, a deeper, I want to talk about your why. When you're doing what you're doing, when will that change, right? So there's a lot of different ways to close. So I do have to wrap up because I have to get in the car and go to my regional. This will be it will make my 3rd regional of the day. It could be my record. But I just want to tell you guys that what we have here is a magnificent gift. And there's 2 things that are vitally important to your business. And if you can work on these 2 things, it will change your life. And obviously the ask is not one of them, but it's very, very big. But when you ask, these 2 things will make the ask the most important 2 things in order to be effective at the ask, okay? And they're enthusiasm and belief. Enthusiasm is huge. And I got to get something so I can read it for you. Hold on. This comes from Napoleon Hill's Law of Success, the 1925 manuscript. And it says on page 169, I even know the page because it's just that good. And this has to do with, it's a whole chapter on enthusiasm. When your mind is vibrating at a high rate because it's been stimulated with enthusiasm, that vibration registers in the minds of all within its radius, and especially in the minds of those with whom you come in close contact. When you are enthusiastic over the goods you are selling, the services you are offering, the speech you are delivering, your state of mind becomes obvious to all those who hear you by the tone of your voice. Whether you have ever thought about it this way or not, it's the tone in which you make the statement more than it is the statement itself that carries conviction or fails to convince. No mere combination of words can ever take the place of a deep belief in a statement that's expressed with burning enthusiasm. Words are but devitalized sounds unless colored with the feeling that is born with enthusiasm. It is vitally important that you are excited and you are enthusiastic. Your energy is everything in this business. If you want to attract great people, you must raise your energy. Light up the room wherever you go. Make it a point to change the energy in every single person you meet. Go out and practice it. Practice it on the grocery clerk. Practice it on the bank teller. Practice it on the dry cleaning people. Practice it everywhere you go. Light up a room with your energy, and you will attract people with that same energy. And together you will create something magnificent. And the other one is your belief. Do you believe in the products? Do you believe in the business? Do you believe in the system? Do you believe that this works? Do you think that Anna Camp believes that these products work? Yes. Yes. I believe the products work. I have thousands of pictures to prove it. I have a track record that shows it. I do eye serum demo. I do demos every single time I can, right? Because I want more and more pictures, proving constantly to myself and to those around me that the products work. Do you think that I believe that the system works for doing the business? Yes, I do. Do you think that I believe that the business of Nerium works? You're darn right I do. I absolutely do. I believe that it works with every fiber of my being. And so when I sit down with somebody, I am unstoppable because I have the enthusiasm, and I have the energy, and I have the passion, I have the excitement, because I know that I know that I know when I sit down with you, I can change your life. I can change your life. I know I can. And when you have that enthusiasm, and when you have that conviction, and when you have that belief, you are unstoppable too. You guys, we have double trip volume right now. Go out there, put on your bulletproof vest, ask, get in relationship, and move mountains with what you have here. People are waiting. 9 countries, every living room, almost 11 countries, every living room, every town hall, every hotel, everywhere I've been, every single place I've been, every restaurant, every place I've talked to someone, presented this business, every single person I come across, people are hungry right now for what you have. You have it. You have it in the palm of your hands. All you have to do is go out and share it. And don't care. Who cares if they join you or not? Who cares? Stop being so tied to the outcome. Because when you don't care, you have posture. And people follow that. And lastly, I'm going to sum up with this. People follow people who are sure. People follow people who know where they're going. People follow people who believe that you can get them where they want to go. So show up with strength and belief and passion about what you are doing, and ask, and continue to ask and follow up until you get every single thing that you want here, because it's magnificent. And right now, you've got double the reason with double trip volume, you guys. Go for it. Don't sleep, and don't take your foot off the gas. So you guys, I hope this has helped. It has been my honor and blessing to be able to share the gift. And I hope that the training that I've given you today will equip you with supernatural ability in the marketplace, and that you can go out there and change lives while you're changing yours. So I'll leave you lastly with my favorite slogan, which is, in all that you do and everywhere you go, in all the people that you come across, show up and be fabulous. Make it a great day, guys.